In a dangerous place in Korea, we see two criminal groups having a business deal about some exported drugs. The two groups do not come to an agreement as we see some men with weapons flooding in the room. A guy named Jae-ha also enters as he talks in a funny way. The boss of the other group doesn't like this as he holds Jae-ha's dress. Jae-ha holds the boss by the collar tightly and throws him to slam the ground. The door opens as we see several men with their bones broken and dislocated on the ground. Jae-ha brings out handcuffs telling the two gangs that they have been arrested. Let's go back some months before. Jae-ha is seen woken up by his friend named Lee because school had closed. Jae-ha and Lee both have abusive parents, and that's what made them find comfort with each other, since they understand each other's situations best. The government introduces a project named Juvenile Police, whereby trained students can become policemen to catch criminals their age. We see that Lee had already become one as Jae-ha asks Lee why he went to become a juvenile police officer. Lee decides to show off his boxing skills when a guy named Song, a bully in Jae-ha's class, comes. He asks for money from Jae-ha when Lee gets angry. He boldly tells Song to back off when Song shows a look of disgust. He sees the name tag of Lee depicting that he is from the Juvenile Police. His friends come to call him as he leaves. Jae-ha mocks Lee for not having good grades and Lee starts to throw a tantrum. Little did Jae-ha know that this will be the last time he was going to have a conversation with Lee. On the same day, we see Lee within a group of criminals as he calls for backup. We see Song as he turns out to be the leader of the criminal group. Song attacks with a blow as Lee blocks it. Lee counters with a blow and misses when Song does a back kick which Lee barely blocks. Song holds Lee's name tag and punches him with all his strength. This force causes Lee to hit the glass behind him, causing him to fall from a great height. Lee is seen in the hospital with most of his bones broken, feeling an insane amount of pain whilst in coma. The look on Jae-ha's face says it all, as the only thing playing in his mind is destruction and murder. The following day, Jae-ha overhears Song complaining why he only got 2 months suspension and not more. Song throws Lee name tag to Jae-ha as this pisses Jae-ha off. He can't take it anymore as he attacks Song with a punch. Song catches the punch as he punches Jae-ha to the ground. He threatens to kill Jae-ha the next time he tries it again. We see Jae-ha crying as if his whole world has been burnt down. He finds a new resolve as he also decides to become a juvenile police to avenge his friend and put down anything that threatens the community. Jae-ha is seen in the hospital. Yong, the team leader of Lee, comes to visit as he requests for a moment with Jae-ha. Yong talks to Jae-ha as about Lee and the police service. Yong assures Jae-ha that Lee would be fine and decides to leave. Jae-ha stops Yong and asks to be a juvenile police in order to put Song behind bars. Yong says that the recruitment is over, but then he assures Jae-ha a place in the police. He gives a rubber band to Jae-ha, asking him to learn one judo throw 10,000 times. Half a year later, we see Song and his boys in a hacking and fraud office. One victim of the hacking, who is a gangster, comes in with a bat because someone tipped him off about the location of the fraud site. Song holds the gangster by the face and smashes him to the ground. Just then, a familiar face enters the room when the person takes off his cap. We see Jae-ha as he takes his stance. Jae-ha attacks when Song dodges. Song takes off his shirt while smiling, planning to enjoy breaking Jae-ha. Jae-ha blocks a punch from Song and gets hit with an uppercut. He is hit with a left hook and is kicked in the thighs. Song prepares a punch as Jae-ha receives it with his face. He uses handcuffs on Song's hand and does a judo move on Song, slamming him to the ground. He steps on Song's face and punches him. The cops come as they arrest Jae-ha because he's not a juvenile officer yet. They arrest him and send him to the station. He explains himself when Yong comes to vouch for him. This seems to be the plan of Yong. He is seen in the car with Jae-ha when Jae-ha watches. He sees himself trending online as the viewers suggest that the police accept him into the juvenile police force. Yong talks to his superior as she accepts Jae-ha into the juvenile police. Jae-ha is taken to the gym as he sees two of his new mates sparring. The guys are done with the sparring as they stand in front of Jae-ha to introduce themselves. The two consist of a bulky guy who is just a muscle head and a more slimmer guy who fights with calculations. The bulky guy is seen sparring with Jae-ha. He throws a kick when Jae-ha dodges. Jae-ha slips and falls down. He gets up and is punched away. The bulky guy complains about Jae-ha being useless. In the evening, we see Jae-ha feeling sore all over his body as he gets home. He sees his drunk father and tries not to wake him up. The next day, we see Jae-ha taking his name tag. Yong comes and gives the trio a mission. A suspect bullies kids from school by making them do viral videos that rake in money. The bullied kids aren't paid and instead forced to sacrifice themselves for the sake of the bully. If they do not perform well, they are beaten until they perform. The suspect is named Moon and the mission is to rescue all victims. The team is seen planning on how to approach the situation. Jae-ha pretends to be a female and contacts the bullied guy named Choi. He comes as they meet him at the roadside. Jinju, the slim guy, introduces himself as a police officer and asks about Moon. Choi, scared of what Moon might do to him, runs as fast as he can away from the police. With a burst of wind, Jinju gets behind Choi and pins him to the ground. They get him to a restaurant as he says all the bullying he has been going through. It turns out that he wasn't the only one that was being used. Next on Juvenile Police, we see that Jae-ha has been sent to Moon's place undercover. He is seen taking evidence with the camera on his shirt and a huge guy comes to him. He is seen moving his hand towards where the hidden camera is when he asks about Jae-ha's jacket. Jae-ha is about to take his phone out when Lee's Juvenile Police name tag drops from his pocket. With a menacing aura, the big guy picks up the tag asking Jae-ha if he was a snitch. How will Jae-ha, an inexperienced personnel of the Juvenile Police, survive this? Will his teammates be there in time to help him? Subscribe to this channel to watch the next part of this video.